Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. So, we are from Group 7. We are going to present the material about conversation and preference structure. So, this is our team. This is me, Felicia Farah, and this is my partner, DC Fiesta, Hafsa Fabi Nurani, and Muhammad Ridho Habibi Yusuf. So for the table of contents are pauses, overlaps, and back channels. And then the second, we're going to talk about conversational style. The third about adjacency pairs, and the last is preference structure. So for the first one is about pauses, overlaps, and back channels will be presented by Ridho Habibi. For Janu, time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Talking about what makes a conversation feel natural, you can see the 3 points in here. Just about what you say, but it's about how you say it. Timing, process, instructions, and so responses like, yeah, something like that. It's all the shape of flow. And something feels stuck in a conversation, it's often because this simplicity is broken. Have you ever uh, talk to someone that the conversation feels like something off, or the reason we call it clock the conversation, yeah, or it just didn't flow. Even even though there's nothing wrong in the conversation, there's nothing wrong with the words if you say it, but it just feels off. So I think there is something that in communication that communication itself is not just about which there is the more about just the words. So let's explore the invisible rules that help conversations feel smooth. Let's move to next page. Pauses in silence when we speak. You can see short pauses usually means normal hesitation, like when we're talking. Of course, there will be short pauses. And long silence after a turn. It could have been mean, uncomfortable, or meaningful, and silence can indicate hesitation or distance. Let's see an example of pauses in silence in the next page, the next slide, please. Okay, as you can see here, conversation is about Faith and Mr. Straight. Okay, what's your major date? English? Well, I haven't really decided yet. There's pauses for 3 seconds. So you want to be a teacher? No, not really. Well, not if I can help it. Then there are also scenes between a student and his friends or teachers, I think, shows how silence can make things feel tense or unfamiliar. But even though the words themselves are negative, as you can see, it's just a usual conversation. So let's continue. So poses it's like that. Continuity overlaps. Overlaps is when we speak at the same time. There are two kind of overlaps. The first one is friendly overlaps. For example, as you can see, that you see in the video, yeah, the part on the oh my god, it was so sexy, and the other one at the same time saying that was being so foolish. It's in one case, two friends that overlap are excitement like this when seeing someone who is sexy by their opinion. There, the second one is competitive collapse. That when, as you can see, through when they were in less. But can I finish? There's something intense between the conversation. And in this case, uh, in the other, it becomes a verbal tug of war where one speaker demands to be heard. It's like when you say that. Okay, let's see. Next slide, please. So a flag can be friendly or competitive, like the example that I've given in the slide before. And the other one, the way each symbol shows closeness or power struggle. So it could be different from other people too. Like if you're a then I think the competitive competitive like it's just cool, like more foods. But it's in formal ways. I don't think it's what do you say? I don't think it's good for each other. Okay, this for overlaps. Let's continue to next slide. Holding the flow. Wait, it doesn't mean on the table of content, but I think it's a bit important to talk about this. For example, as you can see, the text that I excerpt from the book, the speaker said, I wasn't talking about this first book that was really just like a start. So, uh, isn't, doesn't count really. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, holding the floor. How people to people use some more to avoid being interrupted. Instructor phrases can sign that the speaker needs more time. When people are worried about being interrupted, it's like this. I mean, when I'm talking, I usually say or something like that to avoid it being interrupted. I tend to feel my poses with leather boots. These tiny pillars help me to hold my place in the conversation. That's why I think this is very important too. And let's come to the next slide. It's about back channels. Back channels is showing that you're listening. For example, in this conversation, cannot believe they interested in the second and in the discount because it can only save you money. Yeah, the switch to cheaper service. Okay. So as you can see here, Mary never interrupts, but her small responses of that switch listening. The sounds help keep the speaker confidence and keep it flowing. It's like this. Yeah, like channel show intention and agreement. Someone can suddenly agreement or connection. For example, as usually, especially when we're doing this presentation or meeting, uh, as I said, when we're doing meeting and calling, well, we, we may even ask about the other person if they're listening, like, are you still on the phone when they're not talking or they're just silent? So back channels is very important to say when you're to show that you're listening to someone else talking. Okay, for the last slide, please. Yeah. So these are the spoken rules block. Except very meaningful sentence. In the say that talk isn't just about words, silence, overlaps, and small sounds like meaning. So the communication is not just about the words or what things to say, but it's also about the rhythm and timing when you're who you're talking to, when you're going to talk, and how you talk is very important. Also, silence overlaps to listen and respond. It's carry the meaning of the conversation and awareness, maybe better conversation. When we become more aware of how we speak and listen, not just what we say, we become better. We become better at making each other's the person who heard and understood. So I think from now on uh, we could use more of this unspoken rules of thought. So we don't just use words, but small sound, timing, and rhythm also an important thing in conversation. I think that's what I mean. I'll give back to you a little bit.
Okay, thank you so much, Janu, for your explanation. And then next, we are moving to the second material is about conversational style will be delivered by DC. For DC, time is yours.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. So let's start what we mean by conversational style and pragmatics. So basically, conversational style ini adalah cara orang menggunakan bahasa yang berbeda-beda tergantung konteks, norma sosial, dan juga makna yang tersembunyi. So it falls under pragmatics. What is pragmatics? Pragmatics is a branch of linguistics that studies how language conveys meaning in context, focusing on the interaction between linguistic expression and their situational use. For example, kalau ada orang yang bertanya, "How are you?" Biasanya tuh mereka nggak benar-benar ingin tahu detail kesehatan kamu gitu. Itu cuma bentuk greeting yang sopan. Nah, ini salah satu contoh pragmatis yang digunakan dalam percakapan sehari-hari. Yang penting tuh bukan cuma katanya, tapi juga maksud di baliknya. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Now let's move on to the elements and characteristic of compositional pragmatics. So first is contextual influence, yaitu makna yang bisa berubah tergantung siapa lawan bicaranya, di mana, dan juga dalam kondisi apa. Conversational structure includes things like turn taking and paired response. Itu misalnya orang yang bilang thank you, dan kamu otomatis bakal jawab you're welcome. And the next one is speech act. So ini saat kita pakai bahasa untuk melakukan sesuatu kayak minta tolong, minta maaf, atau juga ngasih saran. Saying can you help me isn't just a question, actually it's a polite request. Contohnya kayak gitu. Then there's conversational implication. Ini makna tersembunyi yang nggak dikatakan langsung. Contohnya pada saat bilang I have practice after school. Saat ditanya tentang pekerjaan rumah, artinya implied-nya itu kamu nggak sempat kerjain karena kamu ada practice itu. Lalu ada non-verbal communication is also part of conversational style practice. Ekspresi wajah, intonasi suara, atau juga gesture bisa memberikan makna tambahan yang sangat penting. And the last one is politeness strategies. Ini cara kita untuk ngomong dengan lebih halus dan juga sopan. Instead of saying, close the door, kita lebih baik mengatakannya, would you mind to close the door, please? Dan selanjutnya itu characteristic. Adaptability means kita adjust cara ngomong tergantung siapa yang kita ajak bicara. Sama teman beda banget kan dengan cara kita bicara dengan dosen. Nah, yang berikutnya ada implicit meanings. Show how sometimes people say less but mean more. Jadi kita andalkan konteks, tone, juga body language untuk pahami maksudnya. Lalu ada temporal and spatial uses. Temporal and spatial cues, atau kata seperti here, now, atau jeda dalam bicara, bisa kasih struktur dan nuansa emosional dalam percakapan. Next slide, please. So, how is this useful in real life? In social interaction, style ini tuh membantu kita pahami maksud orang lain, kalau mereka ngomongnya nggak terus terang atau nggak langsung, but this helps avoid misunderstandings and makes communication smoother. In discourse analysis, ini tuh dipakai untuk analisis percakapan, kayak siapa yang pegang kendali, gimana orang saling menginterupsi atau kasih kode halus satu sama lain. In education, especially in language learning, is not enough just know grammar. Pragmatics helps students understand how to speak appropriately in different situations. Untuk cross-cultural communication, Ini penting banget karena setiap budaya itu punya cara sendiri untuk sopan atau menyindir secara halus. Without understanding that, kita bisa salah paham dan bakal jadi ribut kan. Lalu ada interview and diagnosis, especially for people with autism or ADHD. Ini bisa banget membantu mengidentifikasi masalah dalam komunikasi sosial, kayak susah ambil giliran bicara atau juga nggak ngerti ekspresi wajah. Dan and lastly, in technology. Ini juga bisa dipakai dalam AI seperti Siri atau Google Assistant supaya respon mereka tuh terdengar lebih alami dan juga sesuai konteks. That's how machines are learning to communicate more like humans. Itu saja dari saya kembalikan kepada moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, DC, for the explanation. And then we are moving to the next material. It's about adjacency pairs. Will be delivered by Hafsa. For Hafsa, time is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity. I will explain about agency pairs. So, agency pairs are pairs of speech that always have two of first part and second part spoken by two different speakers. Ketika seseorang mengucapkan bagian pertama, akan muncul harapan bahwa lawan bisa segera memberikan respon yang sesuai sebagai bagian kedua. For example, greetings like hello are typically followed by hi or how are you is common only answer with fine. Ketika bagian pertama dari adjacency pairs diucapkan, ada harapan sosial bahwa bagian kedua akan segera menyusul. Ketiadaan respons atau keterlambatan dalam memberikan respon biasanya dianggap sebagai sesuatu yang signifan dan bermakna, yang dapat menunjukkan keraguan, ketidaksopanan, dan penolakan terselubung. Kemudian, variasi dalam bentuk agency price sangat banyak ya, karena selain untuk sapaan, jenis-jenis agency price lain meliputi pertanyaan dan jawaban. Contohnya, what time is it? With in answer about 80-30 expressions of gratitude and response such as thanks, you're welcome, the request and agreement such as could you help me, sure. Meskipun bentuknya beragam, kesamaan dari semua agency files adalah keharusan adanya dua bagian yang saling melengkapi. Namun, slide selanjutnya, sorry. Slide selanjutnya. However, not all response in agency files appear immediately. Is in some cases, response are delayed due to insertion sequence. What is insertion sequence? Yaitu pasangan ujaran lain yang disisipkan di antara bagian pertama dan kedua. For example, when again asks, do you want the pie? The client might respond with a follow-up question. What time does arrive? After the again answer 9:45, the client that respond, yeah, that agreed. Pola ini disebut question 1 and question 2, answer 2, answer 1, di mana question 2 dan answer 2 merupakan penyisipan yang berfungsi untuk mengklarifikasi atau melengkapi informasi sebelum memberikan respon terakhir terhadap question 1. Nah, kemudian penundaan penerimaan. Kemudian ada variasi penundaan penerimaan. Penundaan penerimaan ini dalam memberikan respon bukan hal sepele. Mereka interested and meaningful in conversation. Delay dianggap sebagai simbol dari adanya jarak antara ekspektasi sosial dan kenyataan. Contohnya, for instance, when someone is could you mail this letter for me? They may first ask, does it have a stamp on it before agreeing with okay. Sorry, wait. Jadi dalam contoh ini, penundaan ini menunjukkan bahwa keputusan untuk menerima permintaan dipengaruhi oleh kondisi tertentu yang perlu dikonfirmasi bahwa terlebih dahulu gitu. Dengan demikian, agensi PAIS bukan hanya struktur percakapan yang sederhana, tetapi juga mencerminkan norma dan ekspektasi sosial dalam komunikasi. Pemahaman tentang pola ini memungkinkan kita untuk lebih peka terhadap dinamika interaksi dan makna yang tersembunyi di balik cara orang merespon dalam percakapan. Melalui adjacency price, kita dapat memahami bahwa komunikasi bukan sekedar pertukaran kata, melainkan juga pertukaran makna sosial dan kompleks. Segitu saja dari saya. Terima kasih. Saya kembalikan kepada moderator.
Okay, thank you so much, Hafsa, for your explanation. And then the last material will be delivered by me, myself. It's about preference structure. Okay, we are going to start about the definition first. So what is the definition of preference structure? So basically, it consists of two words, which is preference and structure. Preference means pilihan, or in Oxford Dictionary, it means like a greater liking for one alternative over another or others. Okay, so structure is struktur in Indonesia. So preference structure is part of conversation structure, where a pair of utterance or adjacency pair tends to have a socially expected response. So in this context, preference in these words doesn't mean a personal liking, but a pattern that frequently occurs in interaction. For example, we often say that, like, do you want come to my house? Then I said yes. Padahal sebenarnya deep down I don't want to come to your house, but that's what you expected me to say, that I agree with that gitu loh. Jadi preference di sini tuh maksudnya adalah yang biasanya diharapkan sama kondisi sosial masyarakat, kayak tadi contohnya. Nah, preference structure ini kenapa sih dia itu penting gitu? In pragmatics, itu penting karena it shows how people maintain politeness and smooth communication and everyday conversation. Jadi tujuannya untuk menjaga kesopanan dan enak gitu kalau bicara. Contohnya kan kalau misalnya kita ditanya nih, kamu mau nggak datang ke rumah aku? Nggak mau ah, cuman ngomong gitu doang, tapi nggak ada, misalnya nggak mau karena apa gitu, nggak secara polite. Nah, preference structure itu ngatur kayak gitu. Jadi secara sederhananya, preference structure itu adalah respon yang secara sosial itu paling diharapkan atau dianggap normal atau paling umum oleh masyarakat gitu. Nah, jadi bukan berarti orang itu lebih suka bilang iya daripada enggak, tapi masyarakat itu cenderung mengharapkan respon tertentu yang responnya itu lebih positif dan cepat. Okay, so for the next, contohnya tadi masih it correlated with the previous material. It's about adjacency pair and response. So for the first part is initiation. For example, we are going to assess like, isn't it cool? And then the preferred response is yeah, totally. And this preferred is not really gitu. And then for the request, like, can you help me? And the preferred response, which means that people expect they to say or they answer, is sure, but for the dispreferred is sorry, I'm busy. Like they said that I'm busy, but they say sorry at first, so it maintained the politeness. And then for the invitation, like come over later, and then the preferred response will be of course. But for the dispreferred is I'd like to, but I cannot, blah 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 gitu. So it maintain the politeness gitu. And then the characteristic of preferred and dispreferred responses. For the preferred itself, the first is quick, short, direct, and show closeness. Karena kalau preferred itu artinya lebih cenderung dia itu setuju gitu. Sedangkan kalau untuk dispreferred itu artinya tidak setuju atau menolak secara halus gitu. Gimana sih ciri-cirinya? Yang pertama biasanya ada delays or pause. Like for example, kayak misalnya, okay, I want but titik-titik ada but-nya, terus ada well, I don't think so. Like well, terus ada jedanya kan itu use of hesitation marker gitu. Terus ada jedanya juga. Terus yang ketiga, the third is expressions of uncertainty. For example, I'm not sure. It delays or pause and hesitation marker also, and then uncertainty like I'm not sure. And then for the fourth is giving reasons. I have to, blah blah blah. I'm busy. Kayak aku mau main ke rumah kamu, tapi aku nggak bisa karena aku harus ini, kayak gitu. Nah, terus ada juga asking for understanding, kayak I cannot, because my mother is sick, kayak gitu. Nah, ini tuh berarti meminta si listener untuk understand kondisi orang tersebut gitu. Nah, terus yang terakhir ada softening with hedge, like maybe sort of like that. Oke, maybe itu kan berarti masih belum jelas ya. Nah, terus contoh lain dari example dari this prevert ini yang berupa penolakan secara halus, contohnya wanna hang out later, I'd love to, but I really need to finish my paper. Jadi kayak, ya dia pengen, tapi dia nggak bisa. Intinya ya dia tetap aja this preferred gitu. And then for the conclusion is, okay, so preferred itu adalah respon yang that is social expected, which is social expected ini artinya kebanyakan masyarakat pasti pengennya ketika misalnya kita minta tolong, pasti dia pengennya tuh responnya adalah iya. Intinya kalau preferred itu pasti responnya positif atau mengiyakan. Sedangkan dispreferred itu a response that is less expected and often avoided. Jadi less expected. Jadi when I said that I want you to help me, I expect you to say yes, not instead of no, like that. And for this preferred response, usually take longer, use more words, and feel more distant. Why it use more words? Because sometimes it needs to soften, like, sorry, I want to, but I cannot because blah 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 blah. That's long words, right? And also the response usually take longer because the listener or the audience need to think first how to say it with politely, like that. And then for the last is people who are close tend to use fewer these preferred forms or make them less elaborate. It means like the more you close to people, the more you tend to say yes, lebih sering say yes daripada say no-nya, or lebih sering preferred instead of dispreferred ketika orang yang kamu dekat itu minta tolong gitu. Dan kalau misalnya kamu menolak pun atau ketika kamu lagi di kondisi dispreferred, kamu bakal sedikit mengurangi penjelasan. Contohnya kayak misalnya kalau temen deket aku ngomong nih, kayak kamu mau nggak Vel ke sana? Nggak ah, nggak mau. Ya udah, I just need to say aku nggak mau. Aku nggak perlu jelasin, tapi dia udah mengerti dan memaklumi gitu. Okay, so that's all from me. And maybe that's the last material of our group presentation. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Hmm.
Yay!